Good afternoon, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. It is me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Monday to get the week going right, to talk all the top pro wrestling news of the weekend. It's our good friend, Michael Wiseman. Michael, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
And a happy President's Day to you as well.
Yes. A lot of people wishing Antonio Garcia here in the chat. Happy President's Day, Nick and Michael. Just saying hi when I can with the new job. Thanks for joining us, Antonio. Appreciate it. Happy President's Day to you as well. We got a great show planned here. Me and Michael are going to talk all about the Elimination Chamber and everything else that went on during the weekend, pro wrestling news-wise. The chat room obviously is open here. If you want to join in wherever you're at, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, go ahead. You could jump in the comment section, leave us your thoughts throughout the show. Later on in the mailbag, we're going to talk about AEW Revolution and which matches on that show you're most excited about. Ray in here getting the conversation going early with a super chat saying CM Punk versus MJF dog collar match should either open Revolution or close the show. Is it weird that they're more over than the world title match? Hey, that's a great point, Rayanne. We're going to get to that in the mailbag. So I love your super chats. I love everybody chatting along. Let's try to keep it on topic here as we go throughout the show, right? Because I want to bring the super chats on, but if your super chat has nothing to do with what we're talking about, then I may not bring it up here. But I do want to encourage you to bring your super chats on.
Do not send us those, 420 tweets or whatever. I do appreciate we have a lot of people in the chat today. A very active room. Maybe you all had the day off for Valentine's Day, for President's Day. Yeah. And we appreciate you all being here. Y'all are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Neftali here from Puerto Rico. We got Trevor here wishing us a happy 1500th episode of Raw. Oh, my goodness, how time flies. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit, too, because it's going to tie into one of the stories. But before we get to the news of the weekend, talking chamber, getting to the mailbag, I do want to do an update on Friday. We were talking about how Booker T had said on his podcast that WWE had signed Roxy. He did say that. He was not misquoted. He has come forward and said he misspoke. It doesn't sound as if WWE has signed Roxy yet, though he believes they should, as we all do. So just as a heads up, because we talked at length about it on Friday, wash it from your brain. It never happened. Okay? All right.
Fake news.
Fake news. All right, moving on. News you can use, news that'll leave a bruise. Let us talk about the Elimination Chamber. So Brock Lesnar, to no one's surprise, won the men's Elimination Chamber match. He is now the WWE champion. He's going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38 in a title versus title match. It should be noted that during this match, Bobby Lashley was removed due to a concussion he suffered, but that is not true. The Ringer reporting that Bobby Lashley actually dealing with a legitimate shoulder injury, could be out of action here for a while, unfortunately. It sounds as if he was injured at the Rumble in his match with Brock Lesnar. And PW Insider are saying that one bit of chaos that happened during this match was not scripted. Brock Lesnar, according to Mike Johnson, smashed through the legitimate Elimination Chamber door to enter the chamber match. That was not a planned spot. So anyway, let's start there. Thoughts on Brock winning the title here, setting up the match with Roman?
Not surprising to your point. I think it was very predictable, right? Brock Lesnar was the guy. They're going to do title versus title. That's been the rumor for a while. What I appreciated, though, is that latter part about him legitimately breaking down the door, the spot where Bobby Lashley got injured, the unpredictability and the chaos, maybe not about the finish, but the chaos throughout the match, the Austin Theory stuff, made this a very fun Elimination Chamber match, despite Brock went through some MFers like in the middle part of that match, just elimination. So I enjoyed the match despite the finish being somewhat predictable.
Man, they made Austin Theory look really good here. Like, I was surprised. I mean, I think a lot of people were, but I was just really surprised Theory got in the offense he did. He hit that DDT for a near fall. And I was like, what are we doing right now?
Had shades of a few years ago when Ali kind of went the distance, and you're kind of like, could they do something there? And Kofi Kingston, all those, there was some of that feeling here. Back in the day, Santino Marella was, I think, one of the late ones in the Elimination Chamber. That was fun. It's fun to see a guy spotlighted like this. And I know he took the big bump, but a spot like that can still get you over if it's delivered by a strong enough opponent. So again, made him look good all in all, even though he kind of took a tall bump.
Dude, that F5 off the top of the pod was unbelievable. And Brock Lesnar looked like King Kong in the movie, like on top of the Empire State Building. It is just, what a visual. And watching the man of that size, like how quick he like climbed up the side of the cell. I was like, oh my God. Everything this guy does in this space is just like, I can't look away. Him just standing in the pod, I was like, oh, what a nightmare this is. Oh, this is an absolute nightmare.
Well, you talk about that spot that was unplanned, and I thought it looked a little bit weird because Brock looked at the referee during the spot, and then he kicked down the door, and it took him a few attempts to break through it, right? The bulletproof glass from back in the day. But it just made it feel so intense when he was just going through every single bit of that. So I just felt like they did right by they're trying to set up Brock Lesnar as a competent, credible beast of an opponent to a dominant heel in Roman Reigns, and this match accomplished exactly that.
Yeah, and we have here Daniel Price saying Lashley's going to miss Mania if he has to get surgery. That could be putting him out for 4 months. Yeah, very unfortunate. I mean, this guy, man, like that. What a can't catch a break, right? Like this, he's on fire. He's doing the best work of his career. So sad to hear that he may not be able to work at WrestleMania, but at the same time, a lot of people I don't think were excited to see Bobby Lashley lose this title. This wasn't exactly clean. Didn't pin. He didn't submit. Definitely when he's good to go and he's healed up, will be a fresh and credible challenger, to whoever has the WWE title then.
Well, I think that's it too. I mean, Bobby Lashley it's taken him so long to get to the top of the mountain, not because of himself necessarily, just where he's been booked and how WWE's used him, that it felt like he's been there now for a while. Last year, WrestleMania, right, he got that moment. So I'm glad that they didn't go the route of just having him buried like they've done with maybe Big E and Kofi Kingston before him. Like, at least they kept him strong and protected him, and that's important. And to your point, at some point, we're going to get past the Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns stuff. Roman Reigns, if he wins, is not going to be a dual champion for the rest of eternity. There's still space for Bobby Lashley to be one of the figureheads of the main event picture in this company.
Yeah, and while we're talking about this match, I guess I'll throw, obviously Roman Reigns beat Goldberg. Surprise, shocker, right? I mean, Goldberg technically a free agent now. I mean, I guess. And it was, for what it was fine, I suppose. Just doesn't, you think about the end of a career, like a Goldberg's, like, ending it in this match, in this space, it just feels a little not right. I don't want to say the guy needs like the WrestleMania send off, but didn't really feel like the end of a great, it was just like, okay, this thing happened. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing about it, we had a send-off for him a few years ago. They had this great run. Him and Lesnar had this back and forth. I think that was whenever he said, I did this for my son. I was a champion. I'm out of here. It feels like right now it's just for the money. And I think Goldberg has lost so many times in recent memories that even the spear versus spear attraction, I understand the mindset there, but in execution, Roman Reigns beating Goldberg just feels like it's a squash match, and it doesn't do much for either guy.
Yeah. Well, we'll look at the women now. Bianca Belair won the women's chamber match. The women really showed up at this show. Like, I was really kind of blown away with all their matches. I thought they over-delivered big, interesting 3 women's matches on the Saudi shows. I thought the gear, they actually got to wear fitting. They didn't have to wear like the big trash bag t-shirts this time, which I was a big fan of for them to not have to do that.
I mean, I don't want to get into the politics too much, but if you look at the representation of women on these cards, at least in the time that WWE's been in this deal, I think we've seen progress in that one aspect, that women can be featured more than one match in different clothes. Right. And some cool gear too. Like the Liv Morgan gear for the Britney Spears nod was fantastic. Right.
Yeah, no, totally. And Alexa Bliss looked the same. Lita I was like, okay, yeah, this is what Lita would wear. Like, the trash bag t-shirts thing. I felt bad for them. I felt weird watching it with them wearing that. So anyway, good for them. Good. Gone way of the t-shirts. So anyway, Bianca Belair, she wins this match. Great bout. Becky Lynch also beat Lita on the show, so these two are going to go head-to-head at WrestleMania 38. And
Lita looked great. Can we just give her a shout-out for, God, just looked fantastic out there.
Dude, PW Insider saying people backstage were like blown away by what a reaction Lita got. They sent her back out into the ring to get one more pop. I don't know if that was planned or not, if they were just kind of feeling the audience. But, yeah, man, Lita way over, right? Looks great. Give her, I mean, if she wants to do a run, I just let her do a run. Like, Lita's back, like why are we not doing that? I don't know,
especially when you have her out there. You've already built some storylines around her. She's going to draw merch at the very least. You're going to make money off of that. You're going to make money off some good matches. But I know what they're doing here though. We talk about Becky Lynch winning, Bianca Belair winning. I have to say, I was the one, and I'm not saying they planned this out. Don't hear me thinking that WWE has long-term plans like this. But whenever they squashed Bianca back at SummerSlam, I was the first one to go out there and say, I am pissed about this. You did all this great work at last year's WrestleMania to take it away in 30 seconds to build up this big-time Bex character, right? I will tell you, though, Bianca Belair comes out this year, finally gets her win back against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. I'm a different man about it, because in the course of 18 months, she will have won the Rumble, WrestleMania, and WrestleMania. She will have beaten Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Those are all big names and huge accomplishments, and I think she's a major star as a result. So hopefully that's what they're going to do.
And I agree with you. And I'm thinking about that too, because like it does pay off, right? You're going to be very, very happy when you see Bianca get this big win and everything like that. But it's also like it's like a monkey paw, right? Where it's like, oh, I really want to have a match that I'm invested in, but in order to get there, you're really not going to like what you're watching for several months on end, right? And to AEW's credit, like they do a lot of like anticipation for matches, big matches that you want to see, but you enjoy the ride on the way to those matches. And and I do agree with you, but I just want to point out the glaring monkey paw-ishness of the whole situation you just described. Right?
Vince has this methodology where he wants to send the fans home happy, right? But it's like the classic, if you are from if this is your hometown, you're going to lose tonight. Like, he's got to bury some people along the way. The last segment you'll see might give you a pop, but to get there, yeah, it's just a weird booking philosophy where he doesn't want to give the fans we had Sting and Taker together, the exact same damn company, overlap, couldn't have that match. What?
Yeah, there's still time, right? I mean, look, Undertaker's done. Mark Calloway, I feel like he's got one or two more big money matches in his future. So,
American Nightmare versus American Badass, right? You never know.
So on the kickoff show, The Miz lost to Rey Mysterio. Word going around backstage is that the current plan is for Logan Paul to return to WWE to team with The Miz against the Mysterios. Doesn't do anything for me. I did think that The Miz and Mysterio had like unusually good chemistry together. Like those two work really well together.
Yeah, and they've had some good matches in the past. They just like different styles, but kind of veteran presence in both men. So I think that helps. It feels like though this is their formula. Last year, The Miz did right by them with Bad Bunny, and you have Rey Mysterio out there as a legend, and we have a tag match to feature more people on the card. And so we trust The Miz, which is they should, right? He's done, and Sami Zayn's done great with Logan Paul as well. We trust The Miz with Logan, so we're going to put Logan Paul out there. But their formula here's the problem. It doesn't do anything for The Miz, and I don't think it does much for the Mysterios either.
Yeah. We'll see. It's everybody's getting their dancing partners for the big show. I'm not a big Logan Paul fan. Didn't really do anything for me last time, but yeah, you're right. This is their formula, and I guess there's an audience for it. Well, Madcap Moss, he took a nasty bump on the head during his match against Drew McIntyre. Oof. This clip has been playing on replay on my Twitter timeline for the past 48 hours. McIntyre did go on to win the match, and Fightful is reporting that Riddick Moss is okay. He's fine. He was walking around backstage totally. The guy stood up after this, started running around. They were also saying that the spot where Corbin yanked him out of the ring and he like had time to, get his breath and stuff, that was just ironically planned. That wasn't Corbin like reacting to like protect the guy. Nasty, man. Really nasty fall there.
I thought that was Baron Corbin just reacting because I was super proud of him. But hearing it's not, it brings me to the point of, would you see somebody take a bump like that? I know there was a concussion protocol and they have their processes, but how do you not just go to the finish? Like in a sporting event like the NFL or NBA or whatever else, they can take somebody off the court for half a second and then put them back out there. There needs to be, it is too dangerous. We have seen people take bumps like this and a little bit later be more seriously injured than what they first because of adrenaline. You have adrenaline running through you. It concerns me that we saw a guy get dropped on his head, and he is super tough. Kudos to him. But they did not go to a finish and test him out because, yeah, the match was short, but God bless him, man. Like, could have been seriously hurt out there.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He looked at the ref, and everybody else was asking, "Are you okay?" Okay, he's like, "Fine. Let's go. Let's finish the match." Right? I mean, I didn't personally have a problem with him not going directly to the finish. Things happen, not ballet, right? The guy had his wits about him, was moving, had his functions, and so I'm not really upset about that, right? Okay. I'm actually really not upset about like any of this. I thought the match was not bad. I thought it was pretty good. I think Riddick Moss, man, like there's something there, like the fans are definitely buzzing about how tough this guy is right now. He's got a great look. Whatever that joke entrance thing has got to go. That's done. But like, it reminds me of like, the Ringmaster, right? With Steve Austin, where everybody's like, what is this? This is a stupid thing. And then they were just like, why don't you just go be yourself, Steve? Like, I'm sure that there's going to be a moment like this where something clicks up there with this guy. I don't know. A lot of potential.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And I think the thing about Riddick Moss, you mentioned the look, that's half the battle in WWE anyway. So he's being positioned the right way. It actually reminds me, I like the Ringmaster, but it reminds me of Batista. And when Batista came in as Deacon Batista, and not a silly gimmick, but a gimmick nonetheless, where he was just holding the offering plate for Devon. Yeah. And this kind of the backup man to that. And they eventually rotated out of that. I think Moss has a huge potential here. He can go in the ring. He is tough as nails, as Saturday proved. And when he finally turns on Baron Corbin, that is going to make for some great television and a few great weeks of back and forth between those two men.
Yeah, and I see Daniel Price saying here on that bump, he tucked his chin. It was his fault. It's muscle memory, man. Like it is. If you're going to place blame here, yes, Drew McIntyre did nothing wrong. But the instinct when you're taking a bump and you're a trained wrestler is to tuck your chin. There was that infamous near neck-breaking experience with James Ellsworth a couple years ago with the Styles Clash. Very similar kind of bump, a face bump there. And, they don't...
The pedigree in the past. I mean, I think there was one where Triple H, I forgot who it was, but the gentleman, he tucked his chin when, it happens.
That was a little different. That wasn't a chin tuck when that guy got drilled. He jumped on his feet and he inverted himself, but got dropped right on top of his head. So yeah,
but these things happen in the sport sometimes, just like it does in a real game, right? So
yeah. All right. Well, we'll get to the last big item here coming out of the Elimination Chamber, and it's an item that really doesn't have anything to do with the Chamber. There were just a lot of rumors that Cody Rhodes might be in Saudi Arabia with WWE because Cody being Cody, right? So PWInsider.com saying Cody Rhodes was not with the WWE crew in Saudi Arabia. He was spotted at the Orlando airport shortly after the show. And then Sports Illustrated saying Cody could have traveled to the Performance Center as early as this past weekend to film content for his WWE return. And him being spotted in Orlando would kind of further support the idea that maybe he was down there at the Performance Center taping something or doing business of other sorts there. So, Nicholas, my plant friend here, saying Cody, he might show up tonight. Now, I see a lot of people have been talking about Cody here in the comment section. A lot of similar thoughts. What do you think? Do you think we see Cody tonight on Monday Night Raw to kick off the official last road to WrestleMania?
The roads to WrestleMania?
Get out. Leave. No, it's good.
We talk about, is he going to show up in Saudi Arabia? The Crown Prince has his list of, there's a reason guys like Bill Goldberg show up over there. He wants to see big star names, and that's why they pay all this money to WWE. It didn't make sense for Cody to be over there, for them to pay. I mean, I thought it was weird they paid for the flights for the Viking Raiders just to end that and a quick brawl before the match and not do anything with them, right? You're paying for all that expense, but that's above my pay grade, as they say. So sure. I think Cody Rhodes, saving him for Raw, he's a big draw. Listen, there's hype right now. People are going to tune into Raw tonight because of the rumors. And that, if you're WWE, that's what you want right now. Are we going to see Austin tonight? Because Brock Lesnar going to show up on SmackDown, toe-to-toe with Roman Reigns. We might see him tonight. Who knows? They've got to have some better hooks for Raw right now. Cody Rhodes drawing that attention. I think we see him tonight. I think we do.
You think we see him tonight? I'm feeling like we're probably going to see him tonight too. The only reason I would think we don't see him tonight is if they say, well, we already have the Mania plans put together, and this is just a hypothetical, and it's not anywhere based off the reporting we've gotten right now. But like, hey, we have the Mania matches put together. We want to save Cody for the night after WrestleMania, that Raw after WrestleMania where they like to do a big debut or do something big to kind of, kick off whatever the next year is going to look like. Cody coming out on the Raw after Mania makes sense, but I have a feeling everybody wants to get to business here and capitalize on the rumors. I think we see Cody tonight. Yeah.
If not Cody tonight, then we see Austin tonight, right? We're going to see some. I feel like tonight's one of those nights you tune into Raw. Could be wrong, but I don't know.
Could be both. I mean, Kevin Owens going hard on the Texas fans, right? May take a shot at Steve Austin over the weekend. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that they're going to have to put together. What is it? February 21st. Yep. We're like 6 weeks away. It's a lot of big stuff that's got to be put together in 6 weeks, man. Like big name, big money players right now.
But look at it the other way too. We kind of already have the top of our card fleshed out for these two, right? We have the championship matches set. There's no more curiosity around. Is it going to be Brock and Roman? Is it going to be Becky and Sasha? Or Becky Bianca, excuse me. So we already have those cards kind of set in place. Charlotte and Ronda. The lower card, mid card needs some fleshing out, and that's why I'm not that Austin will be mid card, but that's where we're going to dig some time in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah. All right. Well, just before Elimination Chamber this past Friday on SmackDown, big moment. Sami Zayn defeated Shinsuke Nakamura to capture the Intercontinental Championship. He had been the number one contender since the 12 Days of Christmas Gauntlet match on December 24th. Of course, he got distracted by Johnny Knoxville in between there. It's his third reign with the IC title. Of course, Sami's always mysteriously absent from these shows in Saudi Arabia. A lot of people kind of wonder how you balance that relationship. Obviously, they've been very supportive of his Sami for Syria campaign, which is great. I don't know if there's any coincidence here where they put over Sami in a big way, put a title on him on the episode before the Chamber. I don't know. But look, the guy is on fire right now. Mm-hmm. If you'd have told me 2 years ago that Sami Zayn was going to be like the best part of WWE SmackDown, I don't know that I'd have believed you. He's better than Roman now. He has overtaken Roman. I find Sami Zayn to be more entertaining than Roman Reigns on Friday nights.
Wow. More entertaining, and the Roman Reigns character's kind of played out, but better. Roman Reigns is like, he was just.
Sami Zayn is so fun to watch. Roman, I get it. It takes 8. You've got Undertaker's go to the Hall of Fame. Somebody's got to do the Undertaker entrance. It's your thing now. I get it. Okay.
All right. That is your Wrestling Observer newsletter gimmick of the year there, Nick. Be careful what you say or the internet could turn against you.
Just saying, right?
I love Sami Zayn too. And what I love about him is he's very clearly working a character that he loves. He's working a style that he loves. He's doing what WWE wants. Big name celebrities, right? The stuff with Johnny Knoxville has been great. Read in between the lines about this happening right before this big show or not. Maybe it's just, hey, we want to make sure we do something with him and keep him fresh in fans' mind because we have a big moment planned for him at WrestleMania, and we're not going to use him on this show. So companies, I'm not defending WWE by saying this, but Sami is a worker, not an employee, right? A contract worker for a company. Companies make decisions you don't always agree with sometimes, but you make the best of it as an employee if you don't run the damn show, right? That's how it happens sometimes. And Sami's doing absolutely that.
Yeah, look, the guy definitely seems to be happy, right? Yep. 100%. And here was Keith from YouTube saying, "Do you think Knoxville's going to compete for the IC title at WrestleMania?" Yeah, I do.
Do you think he wins it?
Man, it's a good. I mean, you would think yes, right? But Sami's so good right now.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. That could go either way for me, and I kind of like the unpredictability of that.
What do you think it is? A jackass match or I can't call it that, but I don't know.
Like a jackass gauntlet.
Yeah, like what they're gonna do something funky with this match to make it a little more.
Got to go against Wee Man first and the big guy, right?
I just meant there'd be stunts involved, but yeah, let's do this. This is fun too. I like it.
Then you get Steve-O, and then Johnny's right at the end there, and he's got the bear mace, right? Anyway.
Oh, this could be good. Can we get Bam Margera back?
No. Well, I would love Bam to come back, but like I think we're not a pop culture show, but I don't think that relationship is very good. You know. So anyway, Bam, take care of yourself. All right, the Observer, jumping over to some AEW stuff, saying Tony Khan was in meetings all of whenever this was written. So I'm going to say Thursday, trying to put together this massive deal that he has been teasing now over on Busted Open. Now, no, we don't have any further details about what this could entail, but what do you think of this big, massive, something massive is coming to AEW is what Tony Khan is saying?
I think it's got to deliver. Number one, you can't. He's been pretty good hype machine lately, but this announcement, you're building it up again, has got to deliver. He's going to lose credibility. Number two, it came on Thursday, and I'm not going to take credit for pointing this out. Raj Giri pointed this out, but Japan has been talking about lifting some of their COVID restrictions. So my mind tells me we're looking at a New Japan AEW partnership, super show of some kind, something there to make this more formal, and kind of like what Ring of Honor did, but it would feel even bigger with AEW at the helm.
It's either that or they're moving to HBO Max. I'm kind of, or it's one of the. It's a business decision though, right? Yeah. It's not some signing, I don't think. All right. Well, lastly, here in the news block, before we get to the mailbag, talk AEW Revolution. I was very excited to talk with you about this, Michael, because last Monday when you were on the show, we talked about the Super Bowl, right? We talked about the halftime show. We talked about The Rock opening the Super Bowl. And at that time, I said, there's got to be more to this, right? Sure. This guy owns the XFL. Why is he doing this thing with the NFL? There's got to be something happening here. Well, we know what that something is now. So the XFL has announced it has reached a new innovative partnership agreement with the NFL. XFL president Russ Brandon told ESPN's Kevin Seifert the new agreement is going to give the NFL a petri dish to experiment with proposed rules, test new equipment, and develop prospective officials and coaches. When asked if the XFL would become a developmental league for the NFL, Danny Garcia, The Rock's partner and ex-wife, replied, "That's a no. We are a spring league. We will play at the highest level in the spring. There is not the anticipation of any player sharing that changes the dynamic. That's not how we're executing our vision." This is a non-exclusive, so they can continue to work with other people. Any thoughts on this agreement here, Michael?
It doesn't surprise me based off of the partnership. Seeing The Rock out there. It feels like they're defending themselves and saying we're not the thing that we are. I know they're saying they're non-exclusive, but if you're already developmental for officials, for coaches, and we're in an era right now where the NCAA is wide open with all of the things that are happening there around players' rights and all that kind of stuff, people are going to look at this, and whether you say you are or not, there is a certain amount of developmental talent you're going to start bringing in just due to the nature of the beast, I believe. So say you aren't because you don't want to be considered second fiddle, but everything else about this deal tells me not second fiddle, but yeah, this is some kind of test bed. I like it. Developmental league for the NFL eventually.
This is only good for the XFL, though, in my opinion. Like, after a year, after the first two tries had so much uncertainty around them, like associating yourself with a product that people already know, right? And getting to kind of play off that, like, everybody knows The Rock. Like, the NFL's like, we want to be in the rock business, and The Rock's like, I want to be in the football business, right? Why don't we just kind of figure out what our spaces look like? It just seems like a good fit for everybody, for the viability of the XFL. I think this is a good idea.
I'm not being critical of the deal when I say that at all, because I agree with all of those points. And I think, to me, that's the difference maker here, is they're making a product that there is a reason for fans to watch outside of the NFL by partnering with the people to do it. Wherever you get your talent from, it's about the compelling nature of the product. As AEW has proven, right? We pulled together a bunch of wrestlers from the independents and put together one hell of a show. We're not a developmental league, and it's the marketing and branding, because people don't give a shit about minor league baseball, right?
Wow. Tell that to Jeff Jarrett. All right. Hey, thank you, Michael, for joining me at the top of the show to talk all the news of the day. Thank you to everybody for jumping in the chat room today. We got a little bit more to go here. Stick around. We're going to dive to the mailbag now. At Wink Daily, WINC Daily. That's the account to follow if you want to vote in our daily polls. By the way, the poll count a little lower than usual because the Wrestling Inc. Twitter account, which I usually use to retweet and generate all of the poll votes, is currently suspended. There was something that happened where we had a Drew McIntyre tweet that did not have anything to do with the Olympics, and then it got flagged as sharing like Olympics coverage or whatever. So they shut down our account. We're working to get it back. In the interim, at Wrestling Inc. is their Twitter account to follow if you want to get all the news coming out of the website right now. What a mess.
The Olympics have just been a disappointment all the way around this year, huh? All the way around.
No kidding. So today's poll question, what AEW Revolution match you most excited for? 50 votes we got. 44.2 for the dog collar match between MJF and Punk. 28.8 for the main event of Hangman Page versus Adam Cole. 21.2 for the Face of the Revolution ladder match. And then 5.8 for everything else. Yeah, I don't remember who it was earlier. I'd have to scroll back all the way to the top of the comments here. But somebody was saying, what does it say that MJF Punk has more buzz on it? Oh, it's Rayanne. Yeah, has more buzz on it than the Hangman Page Adam Cole title match. Right? It certainly does. Hard to argue.
We talked. You made fun of Jeff Jarrett earlier, but I've been catching up with some old episodes.
Making fun of Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's a owner of a minor league baseball team.
Oh, that's fair.
You were the one asking who gives a shit about minor league baseball.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm the one burying Jeff Jarrett here, and I'm going to prop him up by referencing his podcast and saying Jeff Jarrett frequently talks about compelling storylines over big stars, and that's what gets people to watching a show. The reason people care about MJF or CF Punk is that's been an ongoing story with some interesting divots and pivots and all that stuff, right? That's the more interesting, compelling thing. That should be your main event. Hangman Page versus Adam Cole is new, and I know Tony Khan has been building up Hangman Page for a while with big wins, but he also just let Adam Cole lose in a big match to Orange Cassidy a few weeks ago on Dynamite, and I know that's part of the story, but I just don't think it's compelling in the same way that Punk MJF is. I voted for the latter match, though.
Okay. I voted MJF Punk, man. Like, I think it's like, for all the reasons you said, it's been a well-built match. I think it's just going to be good. And yeah, dude, that the world title, like Hangman Page just hasn't grabbed me as the world champion yet. I still think it would have been better to put the title on Bryan Danielson and have Page try to find himself again. Like, the energy is not there with him like it was just before he left to go have his baby with his wife. He did the right thing. I'm not knocking the choice. I'm just calling out what it is. The momentum just isn't there now like it was before. You know?
I think Tony Khan, I'm guessing that he thought putting Hangman over Danielson would be the right call to make him feel like a huge star out the gate. I think they should have built to that match. Even if you go in with Page as the champion to defeat Brian, I think you needed to let him dominate some, like he did with Lance Archer, some other names to get there and let the fans get behind him. But either way, compelling story, and I agree with the fans here. MJF versus CM Punk should main event this show. It's been built 4 months now.
All right, well, I'll throw up Brian Barry's super chat here to close things out. Could Cody return tonight, and when will we see Austin challenge Owens? Hey, both things maybe tonight, buddy. Maybe tonight, Brian. Maybe you get your Cody tonight. Maybe you get Austin challenging Owens tonight. Maybe Logan Paul comes out, right? Who knows? Anything can happen.
Jeff Jarrett could come out, and I'm a huge fan of the man, just for the record. So maybe I hope Jeff Jarrett comes out to fight Cody Rhodes on Raw. That's what I hope, because I love Jeff Jarrett so much.
Jeff Jarrett comes out. He's handing out tickets to the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes.
Come buy my gold coins. Here you
down in Springfield, Illinois, man. I got to go check that out. I want to go see what Jeff's cooking up down in Springfield with the Lucky Horseshoes minor league baseball franchise. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be joined tomorrow by EJ Cameron from Second City, Chicago. We're going to talk more wrestling. Come back to WrestlingInc.com every single day. Support us on all the socials that we are not banned from currently. And then come back here tonight after Raw for the Wrestling Podcast. Maybe Cody will be coming out, and maybe we'll be talking about it tonight. Who knows? Michael, anything you want to put over here before we wrap up the show today?
No, man, just thanks for having me out here on this happy President's Day. No, and I love doing this. If y'all want to give me a shout out on Twitter, I am at The Real Wiseman. I have not been blocked by the Olympic Committee.
Hey, and I'm at Nick_Hausman, also not blocked by the Olympic Committee. So give me a follow. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.